I made a children's book without actually knowing how to make one. Let me explain. And let me clarify, I didn't use AI. First, if you are new here, welcome to the channel. My name is Chris and I paint outside, I paint inside. And if that's something you like, please consider subscribing or commenting. It would really help out the small channel and would mean a lot to me. Welcome to the art adventure. So this video is going to take you through my entire process from the initial start, which was really, really bad, to the finished product and all of my reworks and re-edits and tons and tons and tons of reworks and re-edits. And then my current stage of trying to submit this book to agents and publishers. So yeah, this is gonna be a long video, but go get a snack, go get a drink, and I believe in you. You can make it through. Your brain is not totally destroyed from all of that short form content yet. Be patient and enjoy the ride. So what do I mean about making a children's book without actually knowing how? So first, let me explain. I've been drawing my entire life. I went to school for art. I've worked a bunch of different art jobs, and I'm always creating, painting, drawing, etc. So you can say I'm always learning. What I don't really know how to do is write a good story, format my illustrations for printing, properly designing a book layout. I'm really bad with fonts and text. My marketing sucks. I know nothing about the publication process, publishers, courting agents, and I don't have any connections in the children's book industry. I also have this really bad habit. Whenever I want to do something, I don't really research it very much. I kind of just jump in. I figure out everything along the way. So surprise! That's exactly what I did. Before we get into the actual book, I think it's important to understand the backstory. My grandma was great at reading children's books to us growing up, so I figured, why not make one? I got the inspiration from my dogs at the time. Comet is an energetic golden retriever who loves everyone and everything, and Hailey, an older black lab who is just honestly one of the best dogs to ever exist. She's calm, loyal, extremely wise. The idea was simple. Hailey and Comet spend time playing and interacting with friends, and when it's time to say goodbye, Comet feels sad and confused. Hailey ultimately teaches him not to focus on the goodbye, but instead to focus on the time that they shared together. So let's look at the book and break it down. My artistic process is pretty simple. Once I had the outline, I went onto Procreate on my iPad and drew every page's thumbnail. And I drew multiple just to kind of get a feel for which one I wanted to do. A bad flaw of mine is that I kind of know exactly which one I want to do, so I don't really explore that many options. But anyway, then I take each thumbnail that I want to do and blow it up bigger and finalize that. I then use my iPad as a light box to transfer it onto watercolor paper. I draw it out, paint it, and then boom, done. Spoiler alert, you're gonna see that I redraw and add a lot of pages. So let's look at that. I can't believe I just recorded 40 minutes and it was all in slow-mo. So let's do this again. Being the first 2 pages of the book, they're obviously some of the most important. I wanted to open up with a giant splash page adventure that instantly pulls the reader in and introduces all the characters. I also wanted to create curiosity. So Comet finds treasure, but you can't clearly see what it is. This encourages the reader to want to flip that page. We see in the background Hailey protecting Comet and Tizzy the turtle while the ghost pirates chase them. In my head, the pirates are either after the treasure or they're protecting it and they're coming out of this cave. Comment what you think the pirate backstory is down below. There was actually a lot of problems with this page and I actually redrew it 3 times and then even reworked it on Procreate and then Photoshop. The biggest issue was the palm trees. They weren't framing the action properly and they created this weird, awkward tangent. But later on Procreate, I actually adjusted them just a little and then I added some more leaves here and there to kind of just fill them out and to frame the action just a little bit more. So is it 100% traditional watercolor? No. However, all of these small digital enhancements that I will be doing throughout the book improve it a lot. So I don't think it's cheating, it's still art and my artistic talent went into it. So we see another double page spread and it introduces multiple stories all at once. So the characters find the treasure, but Hailey also notices the volcano in the background. That volcano is going to snap us from their fantasy adventure back to reality when mom calls the dogs home. So both these pages and the following are compositionally the same, and I wanted that intentionally because I wanted you to see their adventure and then quickly snap to reality. So I wanted you to know that the island was their imagination and the park is where they actually are. So having the compositions line up perfectly was really important, and that took some redrawing. These pages I did redraw because I wanted the tennis ball to match up with the next page a little bit more, so I enlarged it and pushed it to the foreground, and then I changed Hailey's proportions a little and then just cleaned up up some muddy watercolor areas. The adventure is ending. Hailey is running happily towards Mom, knowing that they'll return another day. However, Comet doesn't understand, and he is questioning why the fun has to end. Originally, I drew Comet crying, but Sean pointed out that it felt a little too emotionally heavy, and I should change it to have Comet being confused and curious rather than being like devastated and just bawling his eyes out, which fits the tone of the book a lot more. This is Comet ascending. This page is showing Mom dragging Comet away from the park. It was visually beautiful, but just depressing. It felt unnecessary, and it just kind of like bloated up the book a bit more, and it made Comet look like he was almost ascending to heaven, which was not the vibe. No. So we cut it. Now we're on the ride home. Mom is driving as Hailey is sleeping and Comet is daydreaming out of the window all of the adventures that the three of them could be on right now. I really love this page because the colors are super strong. I love how that sunset was just beaming and framed Comet so beautifully. And I really think it highlights Comet's like curiosity and his confusion on why the party and why the fun always has to end. This page is also the first hidden tennis ball. So at the very end of the book, you're gonna see this page. It's telling the reader that, hey, there's tennis balls throughout the entire book. Go back and see how many you can count. So it's a fun little hide and seek game, basically. And this is one of my sneaky little tennis balls that I hid. Also throughout the book, I play with this motif of flipping perspective. So you'll see one angle and then you'll see the other. So right now we're seeing the flipped perspective of Comet looking out of the window, imagining all the adventures that they could be having. He imagines them playing baseball, sledding down giant hills, or just being cowboys in the Wild West. This was a really fun spread to do because I got to draw like small cartoonish fantasy scenes. This all represents the imaginative adventures that Comet thinks that they could be doing right now if they could still be hanging out. I only redrew this page once because I messed up a few color choices, but overall, super solid. Here's another scrapped page. It originally showed Comet and Hailey laying on the ground when they got home, and he still looks confused, wishing he could still be out playing. Sean and I just agreed it was a little redundant. It just kind of filled up the book and slowed down the pacing a lot. So we said goodbye. The dinner scene. This went through 3 different versions. Originally, I drew it as a comedic scene where Comet was aggressively eating his food while Hailey is behind a security gate with surveillance cameras, so that way Comet can't come steal her food. And then I tried another version where Jake was part of the joke and dressed up like a security guard. Sean and I talked about this page a lot because we ended up talking about every page a lot. Sean brought up a great point. Jake needed a proper introduction and the surreal security gag didn't match the tone of the story. The fantasy elements in the book exist within the character's imagination, and so introducing a surreal moment in reality could really confuse the readers. I scrapped those versions and redesigned it so I introduced the full family. Mom, Dad, Jake, feeding the dogs together, which now shows the entire family and their dynamic while still showing Hailey and Comet devouring their food. Surprise, I repainted this page. It did stay the same conceptually, but I did change it artistically a lot. The idea is really simple. Hailey and Comet love the mailman and eagerly wait for him. As the day is passing, the clock moves, the sun sets, and Hailey slowly falls asleep while Comet continues to watch the window. So this first version was extremely dark and moody, not conceptually, but artistically, and the sunset was just kind of messy. When I redrew it, I added the hand-drawn borders because originally I thought I was going to do it on Photoshop. I don't really know why. And then I brightened up the color palette, made the clock a little smaller and more subtle, and added curtains to frame the composition. As the panels progress, we see the sun setting, and the final sunset is actually something that you'll see a lot throughout the book. And then Comet is exploding out of the panel to chase the mailman with the curtains blowing dramatically behind him. And then I also silhouetted the mail truck so you can see very clearly who is there. I did not change this page too much. Let me show you. So originally I drew Comet bursting out of the house at full speed to welcome the mailman, and he looked a little too scared. My intention was for him to be shocked, but now he just looks kind of scared. And Sean pointed out that the mailman shouldn't be scared of the dogs. He should be very excited to see them. So I redrew it, and in this version, Comet looks a little less chaotic, and the mailman is delivering both the mail and treats, which just makes the emotion of the scene a lot more clear. I didn't redraw this page, but now I wish I did. I really went a little hard on the purple and blue shadows for some some reason and got a little muddy. This is the bridge to the next section of the story. We see Mom holding the car door open as Jake and the dogs run towards it. Dad's in the house waving goodbye because he's going to stay and watch, you know, football or mow the lawn or I don't know, something dads do. Pretty straightforward illustration. Now we're at the park. Jake is throwing the ball as far as he can. Hailey's jumping, misses it. Comet's chasing it. And this page taught me a huge lesson. I don't know why I drew it on such a tiny piece of paper. Looking back, I don't know why I didn't just draw everything on the same size paper. I did wrestle with the idea of going from hot press and cold press. And for those that don't know, cold press is better for like your watercolory look. So blends, washes, all that fun stuff. And on the hot press paper is really good for controlled details and just tighter illustrations. I ended up going back and forth depending on what the scene would need. But something I didn't do was just standardize the paper size. Like this one, I don't know why I just drew it on a smaller scrap piece of paper. Maybe I'm cheap and I just didn't want to waste it. Or maybe I just don't plan things out and I just jump into projects head first. Anyway, the tennis ball lands over at the pond and we see the ducks. And this is probably two of my favorite spreads. Originally, I drew the tennis ball landing right next to the ducks, exactly how you see it, but without the dogs in the foreground. They're chasing the ball, running up to it very far behind. Sean and I had a very long dialogue about this, and he had great points, as always. We needed to see the dogs right up close, seeing the ducks. Kept the composition, kept everything the same, but I redrew it with the dogs right there. And then we see the flipped perspective. The ducks are looking up at the dogs, and this created like that beautiful visual storytelling that mirrors the perspective, and it just carries that, you know, motif throughout the book. Of course, I digitally added some eyebrows and little things after. And the ducks are happy to see the dogs again because they're friends, but they say, we're leaving for the winter. And Comet's like, why do you gotta leave? Why can't we just do all of these adventures and hang out together? And Comet just doesn't understand why they can't stay and continue having fun together. I drew this page 3 times. The first attempt failed because the masking fluid ripped. The second, for some reason, I just painted this intense, warm fire sky. And then the final version, I reused that sunset palette that I've been using throughout the book. And then I added these nice diagonal clouds to show some movement, and boom, there we go. Continuing that flip to perspective, now we see the characters watching them leave and waving goodbye. Jake, Mom, and Hailey all understand the migration, but Comet looks up to Hailey, still questioning why friends can't stay forever. Again, same color palette, and all I did was just crop it on Photoshop. When you open the book, you're gonna see this treasure map, and I added this actually at the very, very end to help fix the layout and pacing issues. It shows Dog Island, simple page, but I really love how I made the map look old and ancient. After the park, we're now at Jake's story. So the family's cooking dinner together before Jake leaves for school. Dad drops the pizza on his face, Mom runs the kitchen like a boss, and a hidden tennis ball actually appears among the ingredients. On the other side, we see the family eating together while the dogs are playing tug of war with a piece of pizza. These pages to me were important to the story because it shows the family's connection and how they love each other, because it's going to show Comet that you can love someone so much, but when it's time to leave, you know, it's okay. And now we're seeing the biggest emotional shift in the book, and that's what we see exactly on this page. Jake's leaving for school, and I wanted this moment to feel grounded and relatable, but not overly dramatic, so that's why we see, you know, an insane amount of luggage on Jake's car, which maybe is playing a little too comical and surreal, but I just think it was too fun to do, because if you ever went to school, you know you bring way too much stuff freshman year and you never really need any of it. Visually, I really focus on the body language, right? Jake's leaning out with excitement. Mom and Dad are happy and they're showing emotions as they're waving. Hailey and Comet are just watching everything happen. And now that we reached the final stretch of this book, I'm actually just going to read it for you because I think it's just so beautifully done. I had a really hard time putting my words to paper, so I just kind of like word dumped exactly how I wanted to say it or what I wanted to say, and then Sean just beautifully like changed it and made it just flow and came up with this great monologue at the end. Jake is leaving. Why are they not sad? Because they know Jake is going to have fun on his next adventure. There are always goodbyes. There are always farewells. The important thing is to remember all the fun times you had with everyone. And if you hold those memories tight, then you can smile even when you are sad. Because whenever you see your friends again, it is like they never left at all. Goodbyes are part of life, and that is why we look forward to the next adventure. So let's go back to the dog park, where our swashbuckling doggos and Tizzy are back on the high seas. Where to next, Captain? Wherever the waves take us, Comet, as long as we are together. Designing the cover was honestly one of the hardest parts of the book. The cover has to communicate tone, emotion, genre, and curiosity within seconds. Literally, you have to judge a book by its cover. That sounds awful. I drew a few thumbnails and I took this one and finalized it. We see Comet in the middle as everyone in the story walks off away from him. A few things that were wrong with this. It was just a little too emotionally sad and the viewer felt distant to Comet and we didn't feel like we can relate to him. We felt like we were watching things happen to him. I changed that design and I cropped that same concept way in. Now we're up close and personal with Comet while all of our friends are walking away. Now it's like, hey, what's going on? Why are these people leaving? And to me, it makes me want to pick up the book and be like, who is this dog and why are people leaving him and why does he look confused? The original story felt really scattered and just overly complicated. The emotional through line wasn't very clear and the illustrations, So revisiting this project 3 years later, which is crazy, only 3 years, and I think my skills have it's a whole new person. But they allowed me to approach it with a stronger sense of storytelling and just better illustrations. After finishing all of the watercolor illustrations, the entire technical digital side started, and it was a lot more complicated than I thought. Each illustration had to be scanned in. Oh, there's something in there. Oh, look at that, that's cool. And then I brought them into Photoshop where I touched things up, cleaned up things with the clone tool and the eraser and whatnot. After Photoshop, I brought them all into Lightroom because I like editing on that a lot more than Photoshop. And I changed all the colors to match what I see a little bit better. Then I brought everything over to Illustrator and my friend Tyler set up a file to help me format the entire book exactly how it's going to be laid out and the dimensions. Shout out to Tyler. On Illustrator, I added all of the text and then I actually went back into Procreate on my iPad and hand drew every sound effect and fun text, imported it back into Illustrator, put them all together, and then boom, done. When I finished the book a few months ago, I was faced with this huge challenge. What do I do with it? I started to submit the book off to agents and publishers, but it can often feel like you're sending your work into the void. At the time I'm recording this right now, I think I submitted to about 40 to 50 publishers and agents, which is actually not that many compared to a lot of other authors. So moving forward, it's something that I really need to focus more on. I thought about the self-publishing route, but it's extremely intimidating. Yes, I get full creative control and it's my project exactly how I want it and I can do anything with it. It takes so much self-marketing and it requires so much work on yourself. And sure, there's sites like Amazon KDP, which will print and send it off for you. But the second you stop promoting that book, it kind of also gets lost to the void. What do I want to do with this book? I'm at this crossroads. I think I'm going to keep pushing and trying to get someone in the industry to look for it and try to make those connections a bit more, but I need to be a little more diligent and focus on that. Then eventually I probably could do the self-publishing route if I don't get anywhere. It's hard. I want people to see the book and connect with it, but I want to do it right. I think the bottom line is I need to spend more time marketing and figuring out connections. This project taught me a lot, both creatively and professionally. I learned truly how important it is to plan your projects ahead of time, and as a creative, how truly valuable it is to allow yourself to be open to collaborations and outside feedback. I also learned that you can have a good idea, you can plan, you can read, you can figure out everything you want to do beforehand, but the creative process is messy, and it's fun because it's messy, and that is okay. I'm both nervous and excited about its potential. I'm not sure really where it's gonna go and what it's gonna do, but I am certainly going to try my best with it. I know this is a really long video, but thank you so much for watching. Whether you loved this video or you liked it and you found one thing useful, or you just absolutely hated it, please consider liking, subscribing, or commenting, or sharing, or just anything, because it really does help me out. I put a lot of effort into not just these projects, but also the video, and it would be nice to know that some people care. It also helps the book reach more people, and who knows might see it. And this is your sign. If you have a creative project that you just haven't started yet, jump in, do it, go for it. Maybe plan a little bit more than me, but you'll figure it out. Until the next adventure, keep making art. What?